Go ahead.
Hello, and welcome back to the Sword of Truth podcast, the alcohol-fueled chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sword of Truth series with craft brew on the side. There will be no exceptions.
No exceptions.
I'm Jade.
And I'm Nate, and today we are humbly surrendering ourselves to Chapter 26 of Temple of the Winds. There may be some exceptions.
Yeah. I want to say we're always humble. Like, we are the most humble, I feel like. Which I feel like is a very humble statement to make.
I was going to say, it depends on how in-depth you go. The deeper you go, then that turns from being humble. I don't know. I think we're pretty humble with our little show here. I think if you go any further than that, then you're bragging, and that takes away your humble points.
Yeah, maybe just saying the phrase "I am the most humble" is like, it negates any humble points you had. But whatevs. Whatevs.
Did you at least take your hat off and look into somebody's eyes
sheepish?
Like a lost puppy dog? Yeah, real sheepish.
For sure.
Well, if you did that, then it might help you. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I can do that real good.
All right. Well, this was another monster chapter. I've been looking ahead, and the next 5-6 chapters are all almost 30 minutes.
Which you sounded very excited about.
Yeah. Well, it is a little bit of work. I started today. I was hanging out on Discord while I took my notes, and I was chatting with some of our patrons. And I was like, I'll be on here for an hour or two. It'll be fine. I think the notes took me almost 5 hours today. Granted, I did take a small break in the middle. Not super long, but
yeah. You also have to keep in mind that when it's your first time going in, if you're just taking the notes as a first time read, it always takes longer.
Yeah, that's true.
Than listening through once and then going back to it, because you don't know what's going to be pertinent, so you have to put everything in there until you can filter it all out. But I will say, while you did that, I was on the other side listening. I listened to the first chapter, this chapter, today. And then I didn't stop it. I just let it play.
You just let it go.
So then I got up to chapter 35 or something.
Oh, wow, okay.
So all the chapters that you're talking about taking a long time, I listened to them. So
you got those right out of the way.
Yeah. So I don't think it'll be as bad as you think, because we are at a point in the book where we have laid foundations. We have a lot of important talky bullshit that
there's a lot of moving pieces right now.
Yeah, but things are starting to pick up. So we are going to start having some very interesting chapters, and I did not want to stop listening to it.
Okay, good.
Because I just wanted to get to the next part, and the next part, just find out what happened next.
Well, that's what good books do.
Yeah.
Well, shall we get into chapter 26? You want to find out what happens here?
Yeah, man.
Well, Kahlan sits in the chair of the Mother Confessor. She is
the MC of the room.
That's right. She's the MC. She's getting ready to accept the surrender of the representatives that are right now entering the room. While she sits there, she sits underneath the frescoes of Magdasiris, the first confessor, and her wizard Merit. Behind her right shoulder is Kara. Behind her left, there are various administrative assistants who are ready to handle mountains of paperwork. And this whole scene is very symbolic, I think.
Well, yeah, and it goes into depth about how she feels about, Magda overseeing the formation of and destruction of the Midlands.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty huge.
But we've toyed with that thought before about whether or not they would have thought that what Richard did is correct or not.
Oh, right.
So I think we've gotten to a place where we think that they probably would have gone along with it, knowing what we know in this.
Well, at least we hope.
Yeah, we would.
That's
hope.
where she's at right now. She's like, I hope. She wants to be doing a good job. She doesn't want to be just remembered as the confessor who, let the Midlands go.
No, as you would not want to be.
Right. Well, Kahlan puts on her confessor's face and makes it known that she's sitting in for Richard, who is busy, and everything will be passed along to him. And by saying that, to me, she kind of puts herself in second place here. Richard's whole point of having her up there was like, hey, you're my equal. we are 50-50 on this bitch, okay? So they can totally surrender to you. It is the same as surrendering to me. And then she gets up there and she's like, I'll pass along what you say to him. Ultimately saying he'll, he's the one with the power. I'll just let him know.
Well, and it is a weird situation. Like this woman oversaw the combined efforts of everyone in the Midlands. So, yeah, I mean, if she were alone, we all know that she would not be doing this by herself. So I guess
right.
He is the unnamed elephant in the room. We know that it's because of Richard.
Yeah, I mean, pebble in the pond, but Kahlan's still in charge here. Like, she's been in charge here.
Yeah, but I just think that that's why it's such a weird thing. Like, you would expect Richard, the shiny new guy who is making this all happen, to be there. He's not. Instead, the woman who held everybody together is there, who would never have made you do this in the first place.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, she's doing this because of Richard, and everyone knows it. So, although she shouldn't have to say she's passing anything along to Richard, because they're in the same boat, I feel like maybe it's something along those lines. Like, hey, yes, Richard asked for your surrender. I did not. I have not.
This is his thing. It's not me doing it to you. It's him doing it to you. So while we're here doing it, I have somebody to kind of take the brunt of your ire.
Yeah, maybe not that she's doing that intentionally, but I feel like maybe that's, I don't know, something to do with the power play of all of it. Like, yeah, Richard did ask for it. I'm here. I will pass it along to the big dude. He is the commander of...
Yeah.
She is not.
And we'll see, like, power is very, very important. This whole thing is, I don't know if you chalk it up to a power grab necessarily, but it's what's on the forefront of everybody's brain. In front of the group of reps is Tristan Bashkar from Jara. We know him. Also, Leonora and Walter Cholbane from Grenadin. We know them as well. These two are the biggest and wealthiest lands. They are also the most likely to cause a fuss. Like, they want to negotiate for better standing than some of the other lands because, like, they got dudes and they got cash.
Yeah, and they've always been able to. So that it's, status quo.
I'm probably going to give more than that guy over there, so you should put me in higher standing. Life will be easier for me than somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, behind them are Selden from Mardovia. These are all last names, by the way. Wexler from Pendleton Reach and Brumford from Togressa. These are the smaller and poorer lands.
Okay, yeah. And we knew that there's just a handful of people that were there. They've all been kind of trickling in.
Yep.
Because it takes longer for each person to get back and forth from their lands. I did want to mention that in the beginning when she did mention to them that Richard is off doing shit and she's the one that's going to be there. She's like, Richard is off doing stuff for the safety and security of everybody, so I am here. He is literally not, though, right now. He's literally just going to make sure that venereal diseases don't spread through his palace because of his brother.
Which is not bad, but it's also not this. It is complicated there.
Yeah, I was just like, you're lying. He is not,
That's true.
seeing to matters of, safety of state right now. He is, this is personal business that he's off fucking doing instead of seeing these people, which is definitely what he should be doing. But yeah, all right, go off, Kahlan.
Well, she knows she's got to let the reps know that things aren't going to work the way they used to. So she flips the order that they normally go in and starts with the smallest lands first. That would be Brumford from Togressa. Now, Tristan and Leonora immediately start to object, but Kahlan tells them they'll speak when spoken to, and until they join up, they have no standing at all. So shut the fuck up. Thanks so much. They stand red-faced but silent as Kahlan swings her gaze back over to Brumford.
I thought it was also interesting because not only does this, turn everything on its head, it doesn't allow those people to have, the footing they thought they had. They are now, uneasy, so they don't have their prepared speeches at hand. But also, I feel like this gives them a chance to watch how Kahlan is going to handle these three easier to handle balls. Like,
oh, yeah.
there's a good chance at least 2 or, a couple of these lands are going to just easy surrender. And she's going to be able to show, look, this is how this goes.
Yeah.
And then if there is one that they have an issue with, she's going to be able to show them, this is how we deal if you're going to give me a fucking problem. Just as a, like, hey, your negotiations aren't going to go the way you think because this is how I'm dealing with all of you.
And they're probably going to be more shocked to be dealt with in a manner different than they're used to because they are those bigger, richer lands.
But you are dealt with in the same way as the other lands,
So she's
too.
really being nice and, like, giving them a warning shot first, I think.
Yeah, well, giving them a warning, but also maybe not allowing them to get so confident in what they were going to say. Like, if maybe they are a little bit more willing to say, I want to side with you after watching how she handles the other lands.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's a really good point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just setting the precedent for them. Like,
Yeah.
hey, this is how it's going now.
Yeah. Okay, maybe we don't want to argue. Maybe we just want to quietly surrender.
Well, he comes forward, I think, surprised that he's going first, but he kneels and he surrenders without any sort of objection at all. He basically says, hey, just happy to be here. Kahlan welcomes him and Tigressa to the Empire and then makes a comment about how their land will be equal to any other land that joins. And then I can see her glancing back over to those other lands and being like, see? Equal to any other. That's how it's going.
Yeah. And also, maybe they get a secret star in my book because they were easy to deal with.
Yeah. Oh, no shit. Yeah.
It won't
you
be
want to
written
talk
down.
favors? Make this shit easy for me, okay?
It'll be a silent asterisk in the rule book, but I'll know it's there.
Yeah. Well, then she calls up Wexler from Pendleton Reach. Now, Wexler and his people are hardened warriors with a little flair for the dramatic. Basically, they're Batman. A little kooky, sure, but hey, you gotta respect it. He says, we lower our swords to you and Lord Rawl, and we're proud to be called the Harans if that is what you wish. He adds that he would be honored to be at the van of battle so that the enemy can taste their ferocity. Kahlan says that she can't promise him the van, but she's honored to have them, and they will be valued no matter how they choose to serve.
Now, Wexler did make a point to say that they weren't totally sure about Dahara at first.
Right.
But knowing Kahlan and how she's never steered them wrong and she's always like been there for the good of the people, her word means everything. So because of her word, they are throwing everything behind her. They are like,
all their preconceptions out the window.
Yeah.
Kahlan says this is legit, then we're with you.
Yeah. If you say that's legit, we are Daharans.
Huge for them to say,
Huge.
yeah.
Like, our
Daharans
culture,
were the bad guys for so long.
We are now part of that empire because you say it's okay. Which is also interesting because she also says that for the first time at some point during all of this. She refers to the land that they're all in now as the Daharan Empire as a whole.
Oh, I remember that because that's what it is. I think it says. She goes, it is all the Daharan Empire now.
Yes.
No matter how weird it is to say that.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, it sounds weird because it sounds like Dahara came in and
took it over.
Took the Midlands.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what happened. We just don't want to look at it that way because Richard is Dahara. But,
right.
But it's the Daharan Empire now, and that's the first time anybody's ever referred to it in that manner.
Acknowledged it like that. Well, then she calls Ambassador Selden from Mardovia up for his decision. The Mardovians were also a very tough group. They had to be since they were on the border with the Old World. Selden basically says, thanks for the offer, but we're just going to stay out of it. There is silence. They have there's a soldier that coughs in the background to like punctuate it.
Everyone's
it was great.
Like, this is the thing.
sorry.
This is the thing that Richard said they couldn't do, right?
Right.
He's doing it. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
When Kahlan reminds him of the fact that he's near the border, he brings up the walls of Renwold.
Oof.
And how they've never been breached.
Oof.
In case you don't remember, dear listener, Renwold is where Clarissa was from.
Uh-huh.
And what happened there?
It wasn't great.
No, it wasn't great. Renwold was basically destroyed. So that must have happened after this dude left.
Yeah.
So we're talking recent.
Yeah, the internet isn't there, so they don't get to see real time shit like that. So
this is horrible. This dude is making an argument that literally doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Spoiler
we
alert.
already know this argument is junk. And he doesn't know that.
Yeah,
and he may have the best intention for his place, but still, like, yikes, man, it's not going to be good. Like, ugh.
Yeah, no.
After all that shit, we'll see, he's got to head back home or whatever, and it's just like, oh, no.
Oh, yeah, no, it's going to be a bad night for him, that's for sure.
Well, Kahlan tries to point out that the Order is not just some tribe from the wilds. They're going to be fucking crushed if they try and stand against him. But he is just Johnny Cool. He's like, hey, I understand your concern, but we're not going to be defeated by the Order or this new alliance with Dahara. This is where he's starting to put up a barb here, right?
It makes it sound like they are very much not fans of the fact that Richard has taken the Midlands.
Yeah, they want to stay out of all of it. And really, neutrality is the key here. If they side with Dahara, then they'll represent a threat to the Order, which they don't want to be seen as. Where they're at geographically, along with the terrain and the fact that they're a bunch of tough motherfuckers behind a big-ass wall, make them not really worth the effort. You know what I mean? So his whole idea is we're just going to stay out of it. We represent enough of a threat to maybe not want to be fucked with. We're going to, trade with everybody. It'll be fine. But we'll fucking defend ourselves also if we need to.
Yeah, he's like, we don't have enough stuff behind our walls for them to really care that much. But he doesn't know really what kind of people he's talking about here.
Right, no, not when he's really just comparing the Order to the tribes in the wilds, I think was the point.
Yeah, or even...
These people have a huge army that can just keep on coming. It's not the same thing that you're using. It's not the reason that those walls were built.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, it's not even the Harans. This is, an army that doesn't stop, that will just crush you under the boot just because we need whatever resources we can to feed our army along the way.
Mm.
Oh, and also, some of your women for whores may not be a bad thing.
But look, he goes, we're going to defend ourselves even against magic if need be. We're prepared. We have magic people. This is our decision.
Oh, yeah. And like you said, he said that they would trade with Dahara and with the Order, which I feel like, okay, neutrality, fine. But you're also talking about literally being in bed with our enemy as well as us.
Right.
You think that's gonna go okay?
That's not neutrality.
No.
Neutrality is like, I'm gonna stay out of it, and then you fucking stay out of it.
Yeah, you can't make money off of both of
No,
us. It's
hell
not gonna work
no.
that way.
I don't want you working with my enemy at all, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I mean, information is huge. We know that in this world. So no, I'm not gonna deal with you and then have you tell my enemy my whereabouts, anything like that.
No. Mm-mm.
Absolutely not.
Too much of a risk.
Well, he doesn't think so. He says that his wife and his kids are safe. The decision is final. And he didn't actually make the decision himself. The Seven did, right? So he couldn't change it even if he wanted to. There is silence again. This time it's punctuated by Kahlan drumming her fingers on the table, considering what she's going to say to this guy.
Yeah, she's like, okay, well, nothing I say is going to really make a difference here.
Right.
To him.
It's out of his hands.
To him, really. So I think at this point, she's maybe talking to him, but maybe also to the other people in the room. Like, this is how we handle it if we can't help. Like, if you're important enough for us to go after, maybe it's a different story. But if you're not going to be with us or against us, you are our enemies, and this is how I'm going to address you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Well, Kahlan tells him that he is to leave Aidendrill by the end of the day, And with him, he will have a message for the Assembly of Seven.
Which makes me think of the boys.
The boys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the seven. That's why I didn't have it written earlier in the notes. So I was like, I know it's the seven. Well, the message says, we do not recognize your neutrality. You're either with us or against us, and you have now officially chosen to be against us. Either we'll conquer you, or the Order will. And you should tell them to pray that it's us that, conquer you. We'll impose harsh sanctions for your resistance. Obviously, you put up a shit show here today, so we're going to make you pay for that. But you will live. The Order, on the other hand, is going to enslave you and destroy you and basically ground your entire people into dust. And he's like, nah, we'll be good.
It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. He's like smiling the whole time. He's like, ha,
Yeah.
ha, 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 you're
Smug
stupid.
son of a bitch. Well, Kahlan tells him that she's seen firsthand what the Order has done, the slaughter that they left in their wake, and prays to the good spirits for all the people who are going to suffer and die from the stupidity of the Assembly of Seven. She gestures to the guards to have him taken away. Now, Kahlan knows that Mordovia is too far away to properly defend anyways, right? So she knows at this point that they're not going to defend it.
Yeah, she knows they are not going to try to fight to take it over at this point.
Right. And the Order is going to be drawn right there because of their quote-unquote neutrality, and they're going to be defeated. She knows right now Mordovia is lost.
Yeah, well, and because of the location. She knows first spot on the map they're going to hit.
Yeah, first spot on the map they're going to hit, and they're too far away to, send that many resources out there to protect it.
Yeah.
It's just, even if they were on the same team, they'd be like, all right, everybody fall back.
Yeah, if they were on the same
We'll get
team,
you
they
where
would
we can
try, but
defend.
they would figure
Right.
it out. But since they're not, it's not worth losing men over it.
And it's such a small country, it sounds like, fuck it, okay, take that little bit. We don't even care.
But obviously, and this is the other thing, in a war like this, you don't leave lands. If you're trying to take over an entire land and show
ultimately,
strength,
yeah.
like the Order is, you don't go, that small land is too small for us to take, it's not worth it. No. Especially when you have the number that you do with the Imperial Order.
Right.
You are taking everything as you come across it.
I think that's ultimately the goal here. They're saying, look, if you don't surrender to us, fine, but we are going to conquer you. You're not going to get out of being on our side.
Yeah,
We're going to get you.
Exactly. I'm just... Richards would do it as a means of protection for his people, but the Order is going to do... that's just the way of war.
Yeah.
The guy's argument that we are too small, maybe for a smaller army, but not an army that's doing this, the type of thing that the Order is coming to do, they are not going to ignore you.
Oh, no, fuck no. They're taking everything.
Yes.
Everything. Well, I think right now is a good spot for us to stop and have the beer break.
Is it?
I think it's as good as any.
Is it a beer break, I mean?
It is not a beer break. I'm sorry. Like I said earlier, there will be exceptions. So today, we have delicious Captain Morgan White and
Cherry Coke.
Cherry Coke Zero.
Yeah.
We went out to the store, and I totally forgot to buy beer. Just 100% slipped my mind.
Yeah. But we're here, and we're still drinking, and since we make the rules here in our own, we are the lords of our own house.
Ooh, I like that. We should
what
set up our
happens.
bar room in the basement to resemble a legal chamber. I'm the lord of this chamber.
Damn right.
You will have 3 pints and sing a karaoke song.
That's a
It is
shot.
official. That is a shot, sir. Oh, that's fucking great.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what we're drinking.
Yeah, it's not that fancy. Sorry.
It tastes like cherry Coke with booze.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It goes down smooth. We like the white rum, typically, here in this house.
Yep.
A little bit more than the spice, because we found a long time ago that when we drink specifically just white rum for the night, we don't get hangovers
Yeah, not as much.
as much. The older we get, the less that's true. But
Yeah, that's why we got some scotch now. We know we
Yeah.
can drink the scotch
Yeah.
and be just fine.
but that spice rum, for whatever reason, them spices.
Ooh, that hits you hard.
Them spices do ya in sometimes.
I
so.
am a big fan of Sailor Jerry. That spiced rum I can drink. But also you have to keep in mind that since it is spiced, I drink less of it. But my weakness is that NOS, and it is so good, but so
Yeah.
bad for you.
So we be drinking that, and oh my god, we will be back right after this. Da-da-da, bye.
And we are back with the remainder of this crazy ass chapter.
Yeah.
I think the thing about it is I don't have any experience sitting in a chamber like this listening to people argue. I mean, people argue at work, but it's different. Because I can say, well, you guys do you. I've got my thing over here. And as long as I'm good, we're good. This is not the same.
You gotta picture like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody's leveraging for the top spot, pretty much.
Yeah.
Even though two of them went by with relative, they were easy enough.
Yeah,
But they were the smaller lands. Now we're starting to get into some of the bigger ones.
there's always the ass kissers that come first.
That's true.
But that's why you let them go first, so everyone sees these are the people that I like. This is going good, right? Everything's going good, right? You're not gonna
Right?
fight with me, right?
Well, Kahlan asks Grenadin, how do you stand? And Walter clears his throat to speak, but Leonora does the talking. She just gets right fucking in there.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up, brother. She starts talking about how important they are, and they've got a bunch of food they grow, and Kahlan cuts her right the fuck off. She's like, no. I asked how you stand.
I don't give a shit about what you're saying.
Very awkwardly, Leo's like, oh, yeah, no, we're in for sure. That's all good. Quick question. Are we going to be attacking Mordovia or like what?
Yeah, because they are very close to Mordovia. So
Yeah.
the chances are, if the Empire decided that they were going to protect and or, what's the word? Overtake.
Well, yeah, Mordovia is against them. They know they're going to be
go
conquered.
and conquer them. Then it would be their army doing it.
Right.
And on top of it being their blood that would be being spilled, it's also a close trade partner. And they have a lot
Right.
of family members who have crossed into, like, there is family from Mordovia on the seat at fucking wherever these people are from. Grenadin?
Grenadin, yeah.
So, like, they would be killing
well, they're
their
close to each other.
Yeah.
They've dealt with these people
They
a
would
lot.
be attacking their family, basically.
But Kahlan basically says, no, they're dead to us. We'll leave it for the order to take. We're not going to waste any time or resources on these motherfuckers. In the meantime, there's no trading with them. So that's going to be kind of a problem with them too. Right?
Yeah, but I think that Richard had already laid those rules pretty clear.
Yeah, and they were coming ready to be like, yeah, we surrender. It's fine.
Yeah, and Richard already laid the lines that anybody that doesn't surrender is going to be excommunicated from our trading.
Right.
So I think they already expected, if Renwald doesn't surrender, then we can't trade with them. This isn't really like a, hey, good news, your family's not going to die type thing. This is like a, hey, good news, you don't have to try and attack and kill your own family. They're going to die, but
we don't necessarily have to do it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's not going to be there, you're going to be clear.
Well, Walter finally speaks up, saying that he wants to have a talk with Lord Rawl about some of the terms. You see, he's got some valuable things to offer, yes. Kahlan reminds him that the surrender is unconditional, and there is nothing further to talk about. Lord Rawl said there would be no negotiations, and then she's like, so are you withdrawing your surrender and going with Mordovia, or what? And he is caught off guard by this. He's like, no, we're not doing that. That would be stupid.
Yeah.
And Kahlan's like, cool. We all would like to hear what you have to say sometime in the future and as a part of the Daharan Empire, underneath the Master of Dahara, right? There is a time and a place for you to say what it is you want to say, but that's not right now. Right now is a check yes, check no situation.
Which I did think was important for her to say, though, the part about, hey, if you have shit to offer, great.
Yes.
That's fine. If you're offering things, that's fine. If you're trying to take things because of what you're offering,
right, exactly.
That's where the problem comes in. We have no problem taking and trying to, have everybody in a good place, but we're not going to no, we're not doing that now. You have to say yes, you're in before
exactly.
that conversation.
You have to make a deposit before you get a return.
Yeah, which I don't think I'm not a politician. I feel like I would want to see a lot of it, talk about it before I signed any paperwork. But in this situation, I guess it's fair. As long as, I just think that maybe it wouldn't have been bad to lead with, hey, surrender, then we can chit-chat about any of your concerns or things that you have to offer.
Maybe just let them know that part of the conversation is coming.
Yeah.
But that, you're saying yes and surrendering is a pivotal point to that. You don't get that second meeting without first saying yes here.
Yes. But also, but I think that also goes along with Richard wanting to acquiesce to having that conversation too. He hasn't admitted, when Kahlan was trying to get him to say he was going to come talk to these people, he wouldn't fucking say yes.
Oh, right.
And he should have just been like, yeah, after they surrender, we can chit-chat later after I've had a fucking nap.
Well, Kahlan had been less respectful to them than the lower lands on purpose. Not to would have been trouble for sure, right? She doesn't want to cater to these people at all. She knows that even though they're tenacious and stubborn negotiators, ultimately, once they come to a deal, they'll stick with it, which makes them bearable, to say the least. They understand and look forward to the day that the Order is defeated. Now, I think that since Kahlan ultimately sees them as good people, she makes sure to tell them that even though this seems harsh, they really are glad to have them there as allies. And this does kind of get into what you were saying. This needs to be said at some point. Hey, we know this is all crazy and big and scary. We do appreciate you guys stepping forward and joining us because we're trying to do something good here.
Yeah, just, try and get everybody on a good footing instead of just being so aggressive all the time.
Well, finally, Kahlan turns her attention to Tristan Bashkar of Jara. Unlike the other reps here, Tristan is actually royalty in Jara. He doesn't need to write home to make any sort of decision. He's very clever and very handsome, something he definitely uses to his advantage. He has a compulsion to brush his hair out of his eyes and draw attention to them. And my very first thought is Bieber cut?
My first thought, maybe just because we are currently watching House of the Dragon, is that he reminds me a lot of Chris, which is funny because his name sounds just like it, but Kristen Cole.
Kristen Cole, yeah.
I don't know, just he's attractive and he tries to be charming and Kristen Cole can't be betting all the ladies, and apparently Tristan is.
Yeah, no, that guy has a sense of morality, I think. I'm not quite sure about this guy yet, but I can't help but picturing somebody doing the Bieber flip. Hey, I'm Tristan. And then, hair flip. Anyways, when asked how Jara stands, he says, well, it's not really as easy as a simple yes or no. But we're totally in harmony with the Daharan Empire. We're all good there. We admire the wisdom of both Lord Rawl and the Mother Confessor, as we always have, by the way. So, everything is cool and good. Kahlan tells him that she's basically over his shit. They've been through it all before. She's not having it today. Kahlan knows that being royalty, this dude, has been very well trained. So she never, ever, ever turns her back on Tristan Bashkar.
He knows how to play the game of words and manipulation.
Definitely.
And, getting people to do what he wants.
And I think somebody who's been trained in the art of being royalty, basically, is good at arguing. And because they're good at arguing, and Kahlan has an audience right now, if he puts her into a corner with his words, People are going to notice that.
Yeah, no.
It's going to mean something to them.
She can't be sparring with him at this point.
Yeah, she's got to establish dominance. Dominance. Fuck. Dominance. Roll him on his back and put him there. Hold him there. Rub his belly.
Again.
He's got a very easy smile that's good at covering threats, too, which makes it all the more menacing when he opens his coat, revealing an ornate knife at his hip. She heard that he drew it instead of his sword when charging into battle. You see, Tristan, he likes to slice people.
Up close and personal.
Which makes me start to think, okay, we just had a brutal murder, right, to one of the sex workers in the city. This guy takes his knife and likes to slice people up. Maybe this is our darling.
I don't know if you skipped over it in the notes yet or if it's coming up. But she has heard rumors about Tristan. And she made some comment to him. And he was like, oh, I have to resort to coin.
Oh, yeah. No, that I got that. So I know where you're at.
so he literally says that he goes to the prostitutes.
Right.
So that goes to what you're saying.
Well, he starts to say, okay, look, I know in the past I've been a little shady, but the way we see the situation is ... But Kahlan fucking cuts him off too. She tells him he's just like everybody else. You're either with us or against us. And if you're against us, then the first thing I'm doing is sending riders to your family to either collect their surrender or their heads. Fuck. General Baldwin's here. We can send Keltons down there right now. Is that what you want to do? Do you want to fight General Baldwin? He's like, no. But look, you got to just hear me out real quick. Okay? At least let me speak.
To be fair, I thought that was very ballsy of Kahlan to be like, hey, if you don't say yes to surrendering right now, I'm going to go cut the heads off your family. Ha 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 ha. Is that cool? Is that what you want? Are you going to surrender?
That's not exactly the vibe we thought they were trying to put out there.
That's not the vibe I felt like they gave to literally anybody. Like, they did say they're going to conquer you if you don't cut, but this felt a lot more personal coming from... Because like, I'm going to chop the heads off of your literal family members if you don't surrender right now. Okay, Kahlan. Sounds great.
Well, now Kahlan's mad. She is upset. She slaps her hand down on the table. She says, when the order held Aidendrill, before Richard liberated it, Jara had a seat on the fucking council. She was brought before the council, and she was accused of crimes that the order was guilty of. And the man that was sitting in Jara's seat voted to have her fucking beheaded. Tristan uncomfortably pleads here. He's like, Mother Confessor. Yeah. Well, she goes on. He sat right there. You can see the bloodstains from when Richard cut him in half for being a traitorous bastard.
Yeah, that would make you a little uncomfortable, I would think.
Well, Tristan tells her that man was just a puppet to the order. I don't know who that motherfucker is. I've never seen him a day in my life. I have no idea where he came from. He was definitely not with us. And when Kahlan says, fine, fucking join us then, he goes, we want to. We intended to, but the red moon got in the way of that.
It was creepy.
It was very creepy. He says, look, I have the authority to go ahead and join the Empire. Okay? I have that. But Javas Kita, our star guide, he read the stars and then told us that they look upon our surrender with favor, which is good, right? So we're here with good intentions. But he also said to watch them to see if the circumstances changed, and then I have to heed those fucking warnings. And Kahlan doesn't drop a beat. She's like, Moon's not a star. Ha 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 ha. Moon's not a star, motherfucker.
Gotcha, bitch.
But Tristan fires back with, no, but it is in the sky, so it counts. We do moon stuff too. It's all in there, you know. It's in the book thing that we do. Well, Kahlan sighs and asks him if he's really going to allow harm to come to his people based on a superstition. And he says no. But you said that joining your empire meant we could keep our customs and beliefs. And right here, I think he's drawing a parallel to religious freedom.
Yeah, probably.
Like here in America, yeah. Kahlan says that's only true as long as they didn't harm anyone and followed the law just like everybody else, which is pretty much how it works here. Do what you will as long as you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
He swears that he isn't asking for anything special. He just needs some time. He says he can shoot back over to Jara to see what they want to do, which, would take about a month. Or he can just wait here for a couple of weeks and make sure the red moon isn't the sign he needs to worry about.
I just think it's dangerous either way because people like this can always read signs like, okay, now we're not looking for signs in the sky anymore, right? You got a sign in the sky. Sign in the sky told you to keep an eye out for signs that this is a bad idea. Or a good idea. Okay, so now you have 2 weeks to just overanalyze every fucking thing that happens in the city.
Exactly. What's a sign?
And make it fit your narrative. Because I'm sure you can make it fit whichever narrative you wanted to.
Well,
whatever.
And the red moon's done now, right?
Yeah.
It's been the 3 days. Everything's back to normal.
Yeah, now he's just going to wait 2 weeks and see if he feels cool.
So if I were Kahlan, I'd be like, look, it's gone. The red moon's gone. Everything's fine now. Must be that whatever the issue was, it was resolved, had nothing to do with you being here. Let's go.
Listen, Richard got the guys to stop shitting. There's your sign.
That's what it was. That was a pretty big emergency, and we got it handled.
It's all fixed.
Well, he says if everything is cool within that 2 weeks, then he will join up. Kahlan makes sure that he knows he has 2 weeks and not one fucking day more. Not one. And at this point, he does seem grateful, right? He thanks her for the extension, and he says he's looking forward to clear skies ahead, and then he turns to leave.
The whole way that Tristan was talking to her, I got flirty vibes. And the
flirty vibes?
I did.
Oh, wow.
And then even here, in a second, he talks about, like, needing a place to stay. And it doesn't seem like that's how Kahlan is taking it. But I feel like that's the way I would be taking it in her position. If I think he's a little, like, slutbag and he's coming into my palace. Like,
probably.
You know, things are weird. There's a whole bunch of weirdness happening. There's a whole bunch of apparently paramours in the castle at this point. So why not add one more?
Well, and now there's going to be a situation where it's like, okay, he's here at the palace for 2 weeks. He's trying to make his decision. We want him to join our side. He's like opening the door towards bribery almost.
Yeah.
We'll give you guys 2 weeks to make me feel good about myself, and then maybe I'll join your army.
Yeah. And I feel like maybe instead of being like, I'm granting you the extension, she should have said, I will talk to the Lord Rawl.
Yeah.
And see how he feels about
we'll see
your
if
reluctance.
That's even possible.
Yeah. And then maybe that will grant you a conversation with him, and he'll tell you how he feels about you waiting because of a moon.
I was on our Discord server earlier for this chapter, and I was talking to Juniper, and he was like, so what do you think? And I go, I don't think I would give this guy time. I think Kahlan probably has a logical through line to why she's doing it, but I'd be like, no, dude, you knew the deadline was today.
Yeah.
I know you had signs, and you were able to follow those signs, and they were giving you guidance up until today. You've had the freedom to practice whatever it was you were going to do, but, like,
maybe
today's the day, man, yeah.
You should have brought Moon Pita or whatever the fuck his name was with you.
Right, you should have kept that dude close. If he's the one ultimately reading the signs and letting you know, maybe he'd be like, oh, red moon, that ain't our shit, don't worry. Now, if it turns green, we're into some shit. Yeah. But until then, we're fine.
Totally normal astrological event.
Well, Tristan makes it one step, and then he goes, oh, just one more little thing. Would you know of any place I could stay? My palace, the one that's in your driveway, it got burned down during your battle with the Blood of the Fold, and I'm having a hard time making reservations. So, Kahlan tells him he will be staying here as a guest, but they will be keeping an eye on him. If he lays a finger or anything else on any of the women here, she will cut the anything else off.
Which, again, seems really extreme.
It does.
If one of the ladies wants to have a little whoopee with him, why not let her?
That's true. As long as you have two consenting adults, what they do is their business.
That's the messy shit for them to deal with later.
Yeah, right.
The only reason it's your business is if it's something you want to talk about during tea time later with the girls. That's the only reason that it would be any of your business.
Well, Tristan gives a nervous laugh and is like, Mother Confessor, baby, I didn't know you believed those rumors about me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, it's true that I pay a little coin for company now and again, but if I ever broke one of your laws, I would expect to be put on trial and punished the way you saw fit.
Spank me, Mother Confessor. Spank me.
Spank me, mommy.
Of course, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, that's probably why it doesn't occur to her, because, like, nobody wants to fuck her, because, like, the whole confessor.
The whole confessor thing, right.
Yeah.
Well, the word trial sticks out to Kahlan. Richard said the temple team had been put on trial. They'd have to have records of that at the keep. Maybe they could look into those records and find out exactly what happened to the Temple of the Winds.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird that she's having this thought right now with dealing with this guy. But yeah, trial.
Yeah.
Or she's like, or I could just tell my husband what you did and he could fucking murder you in your sleep.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Your choice.
Yeah.
Trial would be the right thing to do, but if you're being a fucking creepo, sorry, man. Nothing I can do to help.
No.
As Kahlan watches Tristan leave, she thinks again about Richard and what he would find down in the city. She wondered if he was about to lose another brother. Kahlan knew the women working at the palace. They respected Richard, and she hated thinking that they might be preyed on by someone just because they were related to Richard. She feels bad for him, knowing that he so badly wants Dreffin to be good. And once again, she remembers Dreffin's hands on Kara. So she's starting to get bad vibes about like she had bad vibes about Dreffin. But in dealing with this guy, I think she's really realizing what kind of situation they have surrounding Dreffin, and she's starting to worry. Even though she still hasn't told anybody about what happened.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think she's also just rightly worried about Richard losing. Like, he's spiraling, and if he loses another brother right now, it'd be
it's not going to be good, buddy.
Good. No. Not good at all.
Well, speaking of, she turns to Kara and says, 3 more with us, 1 against us, and 1 undecided. Kara smiles conspiratorially and says, a sister of the Aegil must be able to strike fear into people's hearts. You did well. I could hear their knees knocking from here. And that is the end of the chapter.
Kara's like, you did it. You're a boss bitch.
Well, she's living up to her name, being one of the sisters of the Aegil. And this is kind of a big moment that Kara is there guarding Kahlan again anyways. Right? She's up to where she was before. And so now there's a bond there that may have been severed, even though Kahlan wasn't necessarily against Kara in that whole situation anyways.
No. Their bond has only been strengthened through this book.
Right, exactly. And I think this does a lot for that, and it's important, and it will be important further down the line.
Oh.
Well, before we go today, JD, we have another listener email.
Yes, we do. Did you want me to go ahead and read that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So, this listener email starts by saying, I just wanted to say that I really enjoy your podcast. Thanks.
Thank you.
And I'm very happy to find other people like myself who are so interested in Terry Goodkind's work. I'm 15, and since I was little, or more little, I guess, I was reading, and I must say I enjoy the show, and even though it lacked a lot. Yeah, same.
Yeah, the first time I read that, I thought she was talking about the podcast, and I was like, well, at least she's being honest.
No.
The TV show.
The TV show.
Yes, and we wholeheartedly agree.
Yes. I can't wait to listen to more of the episodes and hear your viewpoints on all the books as well as the story. I just wanted to say thank you, and I can't wait to listen to more episodes. Sincerely, Riley. I was going to say Riley, but that's not how that's spelled.
That is not how that's spelled, no.
I've never seen that name before. That's very interesting. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Riley.
Also, younger listeners. Look at that.
Yeah, I know. We put the E in the red square up there to let everybody know it's going to be explicit, but hey, I'm not going to turn anybody away.
Hey, we're connecting with the youth.
That's right. And that is important. Rayleigh, thank you so much for writing in. Mm-hmm. And thank you so much. Look, her tag at the end is a fan of All the Things podcast. We got a fan.
See, and you can't cheers with booze, but you can cheers with like your energy drink or your soda.
Or your soda. Or
your pop, depending on where you're from. Something better than juice. I wasn't going to say juice.
What's wrong with juice?
I mean, it sounds patronizing. I don't know.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, so much for listening. We really do appreciate every single one of you. If you enjoyed today's episode and you wanted to let us know what you thought of it, you can write in your journey books to podcastatt@gmail.com, or you can find us on all of our social medias. If you really enjoyed today's episode and you wanted to directly support us, you can go to patreon.com/podcastatt and make a pledge there. Thank you all very, very much for listening, and we'll see you real soon.